I tested the Pixel 10 Pro XL's camera in the heart of Paris. So let's see how it did. Welcome to All Things Mobile. The Pixel 10 series is Google's latest flagship range of phones, packing a variety of upgrades from the processor to the software. But I'm a photographer, so my main interest is in the camera, so I was very excited when I was able to take the Pixel 10 Pro XL on a photo walk around Paris. Though to be honest, the camera hardware hasn't really changed much since the previous model. It's got a 50 megapixel main camera, a 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 48 megapixel telephoto zoom camera. But with its new Tensor G5 processor and various software processing tweaks under the hood, Google reckons this phone can take its best ever photos. Well, obviously, I'm not going to take their claims at face value, so I hit the streets. It was a beautiful day to take the phone for a walk through this historic city, and almost immediately I found something to photograph. There's a cat. Hello, a cat. And actually, for a first test shot, I am pretty pleased. Spot on exposure, great details, also it's a cat. Nice. To be honest, Paris is full of beautiful locations, and even just nice views looking down the roads look great when captured on camera. I actually particularly like this scene with the old Citroën car, something very evocative of old France about it. I love that vibrant orange colour of the vehicle itself, and the phone has done a great job in capturing an even exposure with bright highlights kept under control. And the same is true here, with a great balance between those bright highlights and the shadow detail. I do sometimes find that phone cameras can often lean too hard into that HDR look, which makes things look a little bit unnatural and over-processed. But I do generally feel that the Pixel 10 Pro has got a better balance in most of these images. I wandered through this lovely alley of artists in the Montmartre district, and this shot is actually quite impressive. It was a very contrasty scene with shadows under the trees and bright highlights above, but the overall exposure looks great. It doesn't look overly processed or too HDR, it actually has a very natural feel to it. And I actually find that to be the case with most of my photos from this area. Basically, I was just having a nice time wandering around and snapping away with the phone. The telephoto camera has a 5x optical zoom, which keeps details looking nice and sharp. But if you digitally zoom in further up to 30 times, then it will use AI upscaling to help retain some of those details. This shot of streetlights with the city in the background still looks nice and sharp, even though it is digitally zoomed in so far. Would I use it for my professional photography portfolio? Maybe not, but certainly for an Instagram post, it's more than good enough. But that zoom will go even further, and if you take it up to 100 times, it actually uses generative AI to essentially read the scene in front of the phone and try and recreate some of those details. And sometimes it actually does work quite well. This view looks like a blurry mess, but once the AI has a go on it, it is a lot more visible. And it's the same here, with plenty of detail being put back into the image. It is generally best suited for static scenes like landscapes and cityscapes, as I found out when I snapped a 100x zoom image of a plane going overhead. It turned the vague shot into a weird bundle of sticks with an orange nose cone, which to be honest, just looks quite funny. But it also brings up an important question. If the phone is using generative AI to recreate details in a scene, is it really a photo that you're taking? Google is certainly trying to get ahead of some of the moral implications by saying that it won't apply the AI to pictures of people's faces. And Google says it does that to prevent inaccurate representations, and honestly, I think that's a smart move. But speaking of AI, there are some other tricks up the camera's sleeve. First, there's the auto best take mode, which seamlessly blends together multiple photos of you and your friends in order to create a shot where you've all got your eyes properly open and you're all actually looking in the right direction. This is something that we've seen on previous versions, but it required a little bit more manual effort before, whereas now it's basically automatic. And then there's Camera Coach, and here's past me to explain a bit more. So Google's got this new tool on the Pixel 10 Pro called Camera Coach, and the idea is basically that it will use AI to analyze the scene and try and give me some ideas on essentially how to become a better photographer, thankfully. So let's actually give this a go here. So we've got this great scene set up, our model's looking perfect in place. So I'm going to tap on the top right to bring up Camera Coach, and it's going to analyze the scene and give me some options of what to do. So it's now going to ask what I want in a photo. Do I want the portrait with the greenery, a close-up on the face, details on the table, including another pixel? Or let's press Get Inspired and get some more ideas. Now, all these little thumbnails are all generative created just to give me some inspiration of what shots I might want to get. But let's go with engage at the table. I think that's going to make the most of the setting here. And so what this is going to now do is give me some steps that I can then follow. So it says here, use portrait mode. So we can select portrait down here, and then we press the arrow to move to the next tip. Move closer to the person. Shift view slightly to the right. Frame to remove the phone. Yeah, we've done that. Take the photo. Okay, 3, 2, 1. It does seem like a potentially useful tool, especially if you're new to photography, but as you can see, it does take a little while to work through all of the different steps, so whether it's something you'd actually want to use when you're quickly shooting out and about, well, that remains to be seen. And the camera also uses AI to create audio descriptions of whatever the camera is seeing to help visually impaired photographers frame up their shots.
3 men are standing in an indoor setting, possibly a patio. The man in the middle is holding a camera. The men are smiling and looking at the camera. Green plants and lights are in the background.
I took hundreds of photos with my time with the Pixel 10 Pro in Paris, and I am really pleased with so many of them. On the one hand, I am a little bit disappointed not to see more hardware upgrades in this generation of phone. On the other, Google has done a lot with its image processing. It's definitely worked extra hard to try and squeeze every single bit of quality it can out of the hardware that it's using. And while I do like the shots I got in Paris, this has just been an early quick look at the camera, so I'm going to have to wait until I can actually get one in my hands and put it through the usual suite of tests we do to see exactly how it compares against its rivals like the iPhone or the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. So for now, make sure to keep your eye on CNET for a lot more information about the Pixel 10 series, and check out the video description for a lot more.